This is David Arlant of Gen Xer Reacts, and I am here to talk about Indian media and how it reacts to today's news event cycles. Now, I'm talking specifically about a very nice lady named Palki Sharma over at, she does First Post, was doing stuff with WION. I guess she's moved along now. Not quite sure, but I'm talking specifically about the WION, Gravitas Plus, India and Russia, a time-tested friendship, about how Russia was the most wonderful ally one could have, and the United States was just a horrible, horrible, horrible ally. Oh, really, Palki? Is that the story you're going with, sister? Because boy, have I got a news full of cycles for you. They're not as great as you think they are, nor the Indian media has portrayed them to be. Let's start off with things like economic aid. Did Russia ever give you economic aid for free? Because I sure know the United States has. We have here India's Times of India. Oh boy, we're talking about, I believe it was July 16th, 2015. India top recipient of U.S. economic aid. And Mr. Rajahatta posted this article. I will link it down below. I will link all of the articles down below in the description box so you can go over and verify what I'm talking about. And we're talking about the Times of India in their article about how India was the #1 recipient of U.S. economic aid by $65.1 billion, above and over and beyond even that of Israel. Now, of course, if you add military aid, then Israel just pole vaults above everybody. So, can't really make a comparison there. But of course, we got to water it down with the India's population is so large and blah, blah, blah. And the excuse is, guys, I'm sorry. That aid was not meant for you. That aid was meant for me. That was meant to cover my roads with new tarmac, not to build your roads so that you could have a nice way to jet your way onto the capital to do a little bit of business. But my government said I had to spend it on you. But what people like Trump will point that out, but what they won't point out, of course, is the fact that India's economy is now so large they are buying billions and billions of dollars in American equipment and all kinds of other stuff that would never have been possible without this early economic intervention. They won't point that part out to you either. So we don't get a full story from either the Indian media nor the American media. It's a dearth of information, and it's up to all of us to go through the internet and laboriously labor through this task. WION and Palki Sharma, you should be ashamed of yourself that is the case. If you claim to be a news organization, you should present both sides equally. Okay? Will you ever hear this on Indian media? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Another thing you won't hear is about Jammu and Kashmir. Now, I want to make it plain, as far as the recent terror attacks go, I hope that they capture those people, and I hope that they go to jail, if not for the rest of their life, that they get the death sentence. That's where they belong. But this has been going on for decades. This is Amnesty International. I'll post an article down below. Will you hear this about on Indian media? No. They'll go through what a wonderful time everybody's having in Jammu and Kashmir, and how everybody likes to buy their Kashmiri sweaters, but they won't talk to you about the human rights violations that have been going on for decades. But you have no problem pointing out to me as an American my human rights violations that were committed by my people over 100 years ago towards our Native American ancestors. But here we are, thousands of cases, 947 from 20 to 22 alone in India happened. But nope, not a word from Indian media. As far as American aid goes, has it really stopped? Well, we don't know, and we probably won't for decades now, because here we have historical documents that are just coming to light about aid we have given to India in the 1950s and 1960s, now coming to light. But we're just now finding out about this. And you say, but David, we can go to France. We can get our planes from France. Well, hate to tell you guys, but guess who one of the number one suppliers of replacement parts and high definition parts to the Dassault Rafale, the MiG-35, the MiG-29, all of those high-engine, high-precision parts, guess where they're made in? They're made in the USA. That's why Europe is not even going to talk about a fifth-generation plane, because they know they just don't have the technology. They're just going right to a sixth-generation plane. Because India found out, along with Egypt, they went to go get some Mica missiles, those super long-range missiles from France, and France says, yeah, sorry, we can't sell that to you. Well, why not? Because all the parts are made in the United States, and we don't have permission from the Americans to sell them to you. Wah, wah, wah. Oops, shouldn't Indian media have told you that before you even bought them in the first place? Well, no, because they're just not that smart, I guess, to ask the tough questions. I guess it's just all up to you and me to be the smart ones and figure it out on the internet, on top of all the other duties we have during our day, like getting up, going to work, holding a job, not worrying about whether the new F-15EX can carry 15,000 or 16,000 tons on a single trip, over how many kilometers and how many Phillips will it need. But what am I saying on all of this? WION, Palki Sharma. Okay, you're better than this. I have seen you do excellent jobs on this kind of stuff. But yet you will still bark out all of the same old talking points, and you will just conveniently forget all of the stuff that really matters. Like who is actually paying for those high-pressured, high-cost Rafales for you? Who's really paying for all of this stuff, all of this fancy new kit that you're getting? Why isn't France going to a fifth-generation fighter instead going to a sixth-generation one? Because they cannot afford to. Only the United States can afford to. Well, if only the United States can afford to do this, why are we bothering with France to begin with? As always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hope you all have a good rest of your day.